Hey guys, how's it going? So the Sega Saturn, it's a bit of a weird console with a weird history, but it had some decent games, ranging from fighters to racers to platformers. It kind of had its fair share of good games. I mean, obviously it was a lot more popular in Japan than it was in, America, but either way, enough history shit. So I've been playing Sega Saturn recently, specifically some platformers, and I figured, hey, why not talk about it? Because I honestly feel like platformers don't really get represented enough with the Sega Saturn. Of course, when it comes to platformers on the Sega Saturn, most people think about Nights into Dreams, Sonic Jam, but to be honest, there's a lot of other good ones out there, and well, I'm here to talk about it, so let's get started.
Who gives you raging arcade gameplay? Who gives you the most authentic sports games? Who gives you a game that lets you fly? And who gives you access to the internet on your TV? Play games, surf the net, only on Sega Saturn.
Now Scud, this is a bit of a weird one. So it's basically an action platformer. You got a little bit of shooting, you got a little bit of jumping, you got a little bit of platforming. It honestly looks really decent for the Sega Saturn. So like the title says, Scud the Disposable Assassin. So this series is based off of a comic book by the same name. And honestly, it only got 2 games. Obviously one for the Sega Saturn and one for Windows 95, obviously. And believe it or not, this game actually has some light gun segments. It's kind of similar to House of the Dead, but unfortunately, I don't have a real Sega Saturn, so I can't really show gameplay of that. But yeah, I don't know. This platformer has a little bit of everything. This game basically is a jack of all trades, but a master of none. It tries to be a bit of everything: platforming, action, light gun shooting. And while it could be good and bad, I don't know. I just feel like this game is just trying to be too much. Now the story is kind of mid. Again, like the title says, it's a disposable assassin, so it's essentially, a robot. It's basically made to kill somebody and then kill itself, self-destruct. But in this game, obviously, the robot doesn't do that. It just goes on a mass killing spree. And that's kind of it for the story. Overall, Scud is kind of mid, but I don't know. Everybody has their own opinions. Now let's squash some bugs. Now, bug. When I look up games for the Sega Saturn, this is one I always tend to come across, and I've given it a try a few times, and it's kind of a weird one. It's a decent platformer with a very weird gimmick. Now, I would like to say this before I get deep into things. This is one of the first 3D platformers that came out before Mario 64. This game came out in 1995. It was one of the pioneers like Bubsy 3D. And believe it or not, this game actually got a sequel, but we'll talk about that later. So obviously the gimmick is it's kind of a 2.5D game, it mixes the foreground and the background. And I don't know, it's a decent game for the most part. It's your basic platformer. You jump, you kill enemies, you move on. When it comes down to the story, it's kind of ripping off Mario. I mean, Bug's girlfriend gets kidnapped by a fucking spider. So yeah, the story isn't really riveting, I guess. I don't know, the levels look cool for 1995. Obviously the game's gimmick is mixing the background and the foreground, so it's gonna look kind of weird, but to be honest, I like that. Now something I will say is the levels in this game are way too fucking long. Maybe it's me being a fucking zoomer with ADHD, I don't know, but this game has a very slow fucking pace. Now Bug 2, when it first released, it didn't really matter anymore. I mean, sure, the first one was, again, a pioneer of the 3D platform, but Bug 2 came out at a very unfortunate year, 1996. 1996, we had Crash Bandicoot, Mario 64, Nights into Dreams, the 3 fucking pinnacles of 3D platforming. And then there's this Bug 2. It shouldn't be called Bug 2, it should be called Bug 1.5. Bug 1 3/4. Nothing was really changed about the game. It's still the same game fundamentally. Look, I think I talked enough about Bug. Let's just talk about something better.
Right now, if you feed a book muncher, you could win an awesome Sega Saturn system with Daytona USA game. Hurry into a BP service station now.
Mr. Bones. Now, this is another game I've gotten recommended to me a lot. This game honestly does a lot of cool things. It's more than just a platformer. It's kind of a mini game collection in between main platforming levels. So instead of a health bar or anything like that, I like what this game kind of does. It's kind of original. So obviously you play as a skeleton, and the more damage you take, the more bones you lose. Let's say you take a hit, you could lose a foot or a leg. As you can see right now, I'm playing as a torso. But eventually, when you do die, you get sent back to the title screen, and you have to choose on what level you're on, and you have to go back for it. As you can probably guess, this gets very annoying over time. But overall, though, I honestly really like this game and what it does. I mean, sure, it may not look the best, sure, it may not feel or control the best, but I don't know, I like it. It does something original, it keeps you on your toes, you know, you're never bored. It's either your platform or you're playing a mini game. And I don't know, I feel like around Halloween time, this game would be fucking fun to play.
There are lots of good reasons to go with Sega Saturn instead of Pretendo. We call them games. Sega Saturn has tons of them. Pretendo has just a few. It does beg the question, do you want to play or twiddle your thumbs? Face it, Pretendo, you weren't worth waiting for.
So, Estelle, this is a game I've never heard of before, but to be honest, I decided to give it a shot, and this game looks really beautiful. It kind of has that Rayman effect, where it has like that cartoony influence, the animation is kind of fluid. I really like that. Either way though, if you want to, like, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, no rush, and tell me down below, what's your favorite Sega Saturn game? Tell me down in the comments, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.